All right. I am Jonathan Day, and I am here with... Just want to introduce yourselves?
Daniela Hussein.
And Daniel Little.
All right, and we started by initially communicating through course messages so that we could contact the people that we had been kind of randomly thrown into a group with, and just to make communication just happen a little bit more quickly so that something didn't get lost in an unread course message. We did secondary communication through text message, and since we were located in different areas, the decision was made to meet via a Google Hangout so that we could all kind of talk and see each other in real time. From there, use the little chat sidebar to send out invitation links to one storm board so that we would all be able to collaborate on that, on the one that we were working with together.
I'm on, all right?
Yep.
Just making sure. Yeah. So once we got the storm board, so that we all had access, we kind of reviewed the ideas that were there, because we used John's storm board as kind of our baseline, and we tried to see what we could add to it or adapt it with. A lot of the ideas we found that all of us had were kind of already covered, so we tried to add the ones that we didn't necessarily have, and we created one or two new categories for any of the ideas that we added that didn't fit any of the existing categories. I think that's it for mine.
How we went about a lot of it is we spent at least an hour discussing the different aspects of the case and coming up with different hypotheses aloud before adding them in sticky notes and index cards. So we had different feedback, consensus. Okay, that seems extremely out there versus I could totally see that happening. That happens when you get together in a group, because each person brought their own ideas and thoughts, which I know some of them would have never occurred to me, and I'm pretty sure it's the others, that we then compiled into what we made for our storm board.
All right.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Yep. Any second thoughts, everybody? We're at 3 minutes. All right.
I don't think that was a time limit.
I mean, it did say for like 5 to 10 minutes.
5 to 10. Yeah.
I didn't know exactly how much, whether I should record any of our actual kind of debate and collaboration. So I didn't.
Yeah, no, I don't think that would be necessary. We could have talked about it a little bit, maybe.
I mean, if we want to just kind of discuss, for a little bit, kind of the like how we actually work together and kind of decided on things. I mean, really, it was just
Sure.
Spitballing, different ideas. I mean, my focus has kind of been the extremist angle, with perhaps the government was involved in ignoring an assassination plot that it had known about. There's obviously a lot of other possibilities.
Kept bringing up the extremes, just because there's always a possibility it is one.
Yeah, so including unlikely hypotheses, or kind of combinations of different, hypotheses where there's, obviously a really strong political component, but at the same time, there's, almost an equally strong, extremist, component. And were there any, connections, between the two? I mean, is there somewhere where we could kind of draw a direct line, tentative line, looking at who?
And then there's the personal aspect, which you really have almost nothing to support. However, most people who wound up being murdered are murdered by people who know them and hate them. So.
Yeah, I'm thinking we could also add time, like, since my part was kind of short, I could go over just kind of go through the hypotheses, talk about what each one was, and why we came up with it.
That works. Floor is yours.
So for our hypotheses, we had the first one was bipolar inspired with other extremists. This one seemed pretty likely, partially because of the alleged intercepted communications that the government had. Also, just because he was a known opponent of Bhutto, so he probably had good reasons for wanting to. The second hypothesis we came up with was that Musharraf used his power to orchestrate the assassination. And this has a bunch of reasons that it seems possible, partially because he really tried to distance himself after the assassination, and partly because of, like, the police covering up of the crime scene. The third hypothesis he came up with was kind of a bit of an outside one, where that is, she was an accidental casualty. The attack was just meant to cause damage and to just hurt people, and she was just happened to be near enough that it hit her too. Possible. Our fourth hypothesis was that a lone wolf actor carried out the suicide bombing with no support. This seems almost likely, just because of the difficulty of connecting any of the parties that could be involved. Our fifth hypothesis was that the Pakistani government uncovered the assassination plot, but ignored it and allowed it to take place. So they knew about it, but they didn't actually take the action themselves. They just allowed it to happen, kind of enabled it. And our last hypothesis was that the 15-year-old kid, Aidazaz Shah, was set up to take the fall. He might not have actually been involved at all. He was just kind of sold out for it.